I'm Sylvia Richardson. I'm the host of Latin Race, and I'm here with Wes Elliot. He's a Haudenosaunee member and a guardian of the land, you know, a warrior really, you know, in defense of the land. And I'm wondering, Wes, we've been talking a lot during this social forum about why we're here, you know, what's our priority being here. And for me as a woman, the connection to who we are, to remember our mother nature, to remember that we are part of the land, that we're part of the four, you know, elements, and that we can't separate from that. And yet, you know, we have to do a lot of unlearning because we have been educated, you know, domesticated by a system that teaches that economy means wealth, you know, in terms of money, in terms of dollars, and the wealth means more money, right? But there's a different kind of wealth, a wealth that is living, you know, a wealth that comes from beautiful rivers, beautiful lakes. How do you see your role at this social forum? What message do you want people, what learning do you want people to walk away with?
One of the things, first of all, we're not really warriors, okay? In Haudenosaunee ways, we are, as men, we are Hostinageta. Now, Hostinageta, some people like to say, well, that's the men's fire. But the men's fire, it doesn't describe who we are as Hostinageta, as men. Hostinageta means those who carry the burden of peace on their shoulders. So it is our responsibility not to go to war and protect, but to carry the burden of peace. Now, carrying the burden of peace means that at times that we do have to do direct action, that we have to defend our land, we have to defend our women, our children. There are times when we have to step up like that. But the role of the Hostinageta, or the men, is to carry the burden of peace, because it is a burden, because you have to be able to differentiate the times and what is needed as a land defender or as a man to help your people. Now, as far as what I was looking for at this particular social forum was the basis for us as Anwe people to come together, because this social forum has brought people, Anwe people from across this land together. And we've never had this opportunity. I've never had this opportunity to meet you until this social forum. I've never had the opportunity to meet so many of our land defenders out there without this forum. And this forum has brought us together. And so we are all starting to really become united, because we are starting to meet each other face to face, have our own personal conversations, see all of the things that we have in common as land defenders.
Thank you. And going forward, how do we unite our voices? How do we become of one mind?
Becoming of one mind, okay, is what we call skano in our language. Skano is closest thing, interpretation would be tranquility or having a good mind. And it's a lifetime experience to have skano, and it's a lifetime journey, but it's called having a good mind. Now, as far as us, the next steps forward with our social forum is we need to communicate, and set up these networks so that we can communicate with each other, and so we know who to talk to in each other's territory.
When I think about the land, I think about how land defines who we are, how we see the world, the kinds of things that we imagine as possible. And I'm wondering if you could maybe talk a little bit about what it's like to be a Haudenosaunee, and what are some of the challenges that you face, you know, in connecting to that heritage, to that identity as a Haudenosaunee.
One of the main things right now that we're going through is jurisdiction. Every territory has their own personal jurisdiction on their territory, and we are no different. As Haudenosaunee, as members of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy Council, we are more advanced in other nations in that we have our own Haudenosaunee land registry. Everybody else has their land registered in, you know, whatever province and province's land registry. But we have created our own Haudenosaunee land registry. It starts with Ganastado, which is in Caledonia, just outside our territory back in 2006. The people, we took that land back. There was a development going on where they wanted to put 300 homes right next to our territory, and we said no to that. And we took it over. Consequently, we were raided by 200 police, and our people came together with about 5,000-6,000 people together. We pushed the OPP off that territory peacefully. We did not have guns, arms, but we pushed them off peacefully, and we reclaimed that territory. Now, since then, we've had problems with some of our neighbors, our non-native neighbors, coming onto our territory, onto that land, and causing problems for our people that are there. So what it was decided in our Confederacy Council was to build a fence around that territory. Now, this land, you have to remember, was purchased back in 2006 by the Crown, by Ontario, to take it out of the developers' hands, and they thought it would remove the problem. What we did is we reclaimed it as our jurisdiction. It's not under Ontario, it's under our jurisdiction, period. So when we decided, our Confederacy Council decided to put a fence up to protect our people that are there on the site, we started erecting that fence. Now that fence we put in with a buffer zone of 10 feet going around the problem area that we had. And one of the fences had to go over a road that was coming on to our territory there. When we put the post holes in, that's when the municipal county became very upset, because in their mind that road is theirs. And they wanted to charge us for publicly damaging municipal property. And that's what they were threatening us with taking us to court and suing us. We decided that it was our jurisdiction, and all the people decided, it was the people who decided this. The people decided that to go ahead and put that fence up. And so our Confederacy Council said, yes, put the fence up. And so we, just 2 weeks ago, put that fence up, and it's standing there today. This is an example of us exerting our jurisdiction against the municipal's wishes and against Ontario's wishes. Now, Ontario came to us. The Aboriginal minister came to our Confederacy Council and talked with our chiefs about this particular situation with that fence. And he wanted our council to go to a meeting with Haldeman County, with the municipal county, and with Band Council to resolve this. And we absolutely refused. We refused to meet with a municipal government, and we refused to listen with Band Council, to meet with Band Council, because they are in the boat and they are not in the canoe. We are in the canoe. Everything we are is in the canoe, and they are in the boat. According to our protocol, for us to deal with them would be cultural genocide. And that's what we told the minister. It would be cultural genocide for us to meet with those people at the table. And the minister got very upset, stood up, started yelling, and then one of our chiefs, our traditional chiefs, told him to sit down and you will listen to us. And so he had to sit down. So we've had confrontations with the Ontario, with the municipal people there. We've had problems with the county municipal people there. But we assert our jurisdiction. That land back in Caledonia that we now have renamed Ganestado is ours. It's in our own Haudenosaunee land registry. So it's reclaimed, it's ours. That's end of discussion. And it's a question of jurisdiction. Ontario, Canada, and the municipalities have no say on land that is ours, period.
I was thinking about the significance of that stance, right? Because when we think about how the laws can be used to redefine a landmass for as a national park, which has been done in many areas throughout Turtle Island, and then that national park becomes open to mining operations to put in permits and granted those permits, and so completely violating tradition. Well, completely violating, first of all, the laws, because there is a law that says that land is unceded, that land belongs to the original peoples of those territories. So in many ways, I think what we need, and perhaps this social forum was an opportunity for us to recognize that in order for us to reconnect to the land, we also need to reconnect to who we are, and our interdependence with that land and our interconnection with one another. Because until we stand united, people will still be attacked individually. As individuals, we can be brought down, the fences can be pushed down, and the forest can be clear cut, right? But when we stand together, a different voice rises, and that voice is powerful. So I was wondering, and I've been asking a lot of people who have come to the social forum with a vision to maybe reconnect the multiple grassroots movements, the multiple indigenous people in this land, original peoples of this land, who have serious struggles, to protect the watersheds, to protect the forests, to protect the mountains, on their hands, and that those struggles are not just the original people's struggles alone, right? Everyone shares a collective responsibility to recognize that we're all dependent on the land. So if we were to have a symbol for our movement, for this beautiful movement that envisions a united voice, what would that symbol be? If it were an animal or a plant, what would you? There were some ideas about, some of the women said, well, it would be a turtle, of course, Another one said it would be an ant, because ants work collectively and they take very little and they don't cause damage, but they weave these beautiful networks, right? And they care for everyone, the smallest among them. So I'm curious, what would be your suggestion for our, symbols?
Oh, definitely, you need balance. And I would not choose an animal, I would choose human beings. I'd choose a man and a woman, because the balance has to be there. And so without balance, we are lopsided and we can't go forward. We need that balance in life, balance in thought, balance in the land. We need that balance, and in order to have that balance, before we can move ahead, we need that balance.
Where does that power lie today in your eyes?
Well, the power always lies within the people. The people are the ones who have the final say. But when it comes to land, the real power is the women. The women have the say on the land. It's the women who are the mothers. It's the women who are the caretakers of life, and they are the ones that raise our children. It's the women who have the final say on land.
Thank you so much for being with us. And to all of you listening to this video who are interested in becoming allies to the Haudenosaunee, how do people reach out? How do people become allies and participate in your campaigns to defend the land? There's a campaign right now across nations, across territories to defend the land. How do people participate?
With the Haudenosaunee people, I would recommend looking up Haudenosaunee Development Institute, HDI. That is our Confederacy Council appointed committee to look at development, and they look at a lot of other things, but that would be the easiest way to contact us, is through the Haudenosaunee Development Institute. Look it up on the web.
Thank you very much for your time. And thank you for watching. Please go to latinwaysmedia.com for more information. We will be posting these interviews and information on how to become a respectful ally and committed to defend this beautiful land. Thank you.